In this video, I'd like to show you how to visualize the spatial units in QGIS. To start with, I'd like you to download one of these spatial units from the course website. And as an illustration, I'm using dissemination areas. And then you can use the same method illustrated here to visualize the other spatial units. So if you click that link, it will download the corresponding spatial units for the entire Canada. I have already done it, and it is in a zipped file. What you do is once you have saved it in a directory that you want, extract all the file in the zipped directory. It will take a minute to do it. Now I have the directory unzipped, which is right here. If you click open it, you will discover that this directory comes with 5 different files. Do not delete any one of them because you need all 5 files in order for the spatial units to be properly opened in QGIS. So once you have done this, open QGIS. My folder of QGIS has a shortcut right here on the desktop. Click open the folder. You will see this icon, QGIS desktop, for my long-term release, 3.34.9. Double click it to open QGIS. Once you have opened QGIS, you will be able to see a few panels. The first one on the right-hand side will show you some project templates. These are just illustrations. The main page or the panel that you will be working with is the recent projects. That's where your work will be performed. On the left-hand side here consists of 2 panels. The top panel will show you the directories and some other functions that you can use for more sophisticated analysis. For now, this panel basically is for us to retrieve and save file. The bottom panel, it's called layers. It will show you what's being shown as a layer on or with many layers on the project panel in the middle. So once you have opened QGIS, we go back to the directory where we save the spatial units, which is right here. These are dissemination areas for the entire Canada. What are dissemination areas? You can Google it from Census Statistics Canada. It is the smallest spatial unit that Statistics Canada uses to partition the entire map of Canada. In other words, it's the smallest spatial unit available. Think about it as neighborhood, consisting of about 500 to 700 people in each DA or dissemination area. Now, of all these 5 files, the one that would open up as visual display in QGIS is the one with the extension .shp. We call it as the shape file. So drag this to your project webpage or the project panel. You will discover that it will open on its own. And as you will realize, this is the outline of the entire map of Canada. To zoom in, you can use the magnifying glass with a plus sign on top, or simply, even if you are not using the magnifying glass, hover your mouse over the map and use the wheel to scroll up. It will zoom in to different parts of the map. Let me highlight a rectangle in the bottom here. Some of you might notice this is Toronto. You might say, you know what, I don't like the visual display color. I don't like the yellow, earthy color. What you do is, you see here the layer now consists of the shape file that we just opened. If you hover your mouse over this layer, right click at the layer, When you see properties, click that. The first item on the pop-up box would allow you to choose the color differently. So click that. I don't like yellow, suppose. I like something more blue. What you can do is shift it to where you like the color to be and click OK. You can add other displays. For now, I'm happy with it. Apply OK, and that will change the color display. Let me further zoom in. If you notice that every single polygon in here represent one dissemination area, what's the information contained in this boundary file or this shape file? Use this button, information, click that. Bring that over to any one of the or groups of polygons or DAs. Just click your mouse on it. So I want to know what's included as information in this polygon. It is a dissemination area with an ID number of 3520 and then followed by 4 other numbers. And then some other information. It tells you that land area. This is usually in square kilometers, but you need to double check the census definition. PRUID, it's provincial identification number. Ontario always has an ID number of 35, and which is correct because Toronto is in Ontario. You will realize that this 35 would appear in all the DAs in Ontario as the starting 2 digits. So any DAs residing in Ontario would start with the 2-digit 35. If you try another one, click this. It will show you similar information. And you notice that it is 3520 followed by another set of 4 numbers. I want you to notice 2 things. Number 1, I already mentioned that provincial identifier for Ontario is 35, and all DAs residing in Ontario would start with 35. And in fact, we can extend this logic to the next 2 numbers. Any DAs residing in Toronto would always start with the 4-digit 3520. Second thing I want you to notice is that you can select the DAs in a particular county by using a function called select. How do you do it? Go to Edit. It has a select function. And because we want to select, let's say, DAUID that begins with 3520, this is a value, it's a number. So we choose the function select features by value. Now Toronto is 3520. What if I'm interested in looking up information for Wellington County, which is where Guelph is? If I go back to the census data file that I have downloaded in my preceding video, you will notice that Wellington County has all the DAs residing in it starts with the number 3523. So I want to select all the DAs starting with 3523. So go to DAUID. I want to select value that begins with or starts with 3523. Click select features. All right. In the bottom here, it says 359 features selected on this layer. Let me close this box. Where is it? Let me close this panel of information and zoom out. There you go, which is highlighted in yellow. And all together, there are 359 features. Well, I don't want to work with the rest of the DAs. I just want to work with these 359 DAs. How do I select or save this selection into a different file? Well, the way to go about doing it is to hover your mouse on this layer, right-click your mouse, click Export. You can see it allows you to save selected features as a new file. The format we want is still S3 shapefile. The default might start with GeoPackage. Click that, search for or select S3 shapefile. The file name, find the directory where you want to save it. I have already created a directory called Wellington DA, so let me click that. And the file name I want to give is Wellington DA. Leave it as shapefile, save. Nothing to change for the rest of the setting. Use the default and OK. So now you have a new layer called Wellington DA. If you want, what you can do is close all the files, discard all of them, and now go back to the directory where you have saved or where I have saved Wellington County. So my directory right here, you can see Wellington County and the shape file right there. Drag it to QGIS, the working panel. Here it is. So here it is. This is actually Guelph right there. And again, I don't like the color. I can choose the properties and change it into something like the school logo color, Guelph color. Okay, but it's a little dark. Let's use the lighter version of it. Something like this. There you go. Can I look at the table showing all the features in this particular data set consisting of the 359 DAs? Yes, and the way to do it is you see the button on top that shows the table. Click that. The rows, each row will correspond to a particular polygon. So if you select any one, look at the table, you will see, it doesn't demonstrate right here. Maybe this is the one. It allows you to show the selected features. Doesn't show it. But nonetheless, the table would show you the list of 359 DAs included in Wellington County. Now, the last thing I want you to notice is we have 359 observations. If we compare this with the DA variable file from census that we have downloaded, you will realize that I have 361 rows, of which the first row is just a header. The second row is an aggregate of all the numbers from the other DAs, starting with the number 3523, which is in Wellington County. That's why this number is so short in relation or comparison to the rest, because it's a sum of all other values. You will realize that we have exactly 359 DA values from our census data. Our next task is to merge the QGIS map with the census variable, so that now if we look at the table, it will populate other columns so that we can do some visual display of the variables.